Welcome back everyone to my Let's Play of Final Fantasy II for the Nintendo Famicom system. Last episode, our rattie heroes Fess, Maxine, and Booker escaped the belly of the Leviathan, the guardian of the Mysidia Tower. It swallows anyone who has a crystal rod. That was the item that we got in the Mysidia cave. Turns out there's a lot of people with crystal rods, including our fourth party member there, Ricard, the last dragoon. We learned a little bit about him back in Deist when we went to Deist. We were told that one of the dragoons went looking for ultima, so that was Ricard. Like all those other adventurers, he had a crystal rod and was swallowed by the Leviathan. They couldn't escape because there was a boat that you could escape from, but it was guarded by this really tough roundworm monster. But we all teamed up and managed to take it out, so here we are at the Mysidia Tower. Every time you step in front of this Mysidia Tower, you get that little cutscene. So when you leave the Mysidia Tower, you're going to have to leave, you have to walk over to the right. Because if you head south as soon as you exit the tower, you'll just get that cutscene and you'll walk back into the tower again. So, yeah, it's kind of annoying, but it's okay. So, a lot of annoying enemies, speaking of annoying, a lot of annoying enemies in this area. Main ones are the imps, because they can confuse you. There's some other enemies that can confuse you with their attack as well. There's basilisks can turn you into stone on some of the upper floors. But a lot of the enemies that we'll encounter here are the imps, and they have the confuse spell. Thankfully, Fess is protected from the confuse spell thanks to his ribbon. And now Booker also has protection from the confuse spell thanks to the twist headband that he has. We found that in the Leviathan. So, we're not going to be doing too much here in the Mysidia Tower. We just want to go in and get some treasure on the first floor here. There's 4 treasure chests on the first floor. 3 of them have absolute garbage in them. They all have staffs. We're just going to grab them just so we can sell them. We don't even drop them if we don't have enough inventory room. But the one has the white robe, which is going to be basically Fess's endgame body armor. So it's going to increase his spirit, and it gives some resistances as well. The resistances that it gives aren't as important because he already has the ribbon, so I'm not really worried about the resistance. But we do like the plus 10 spirit that the robe is going to give us, and it's a light body armor, so it's not going to affect his evasion. So that's good. After that, after we get that robe, we're going to basically just head back to Deist to, I guess, let the woman and her child know that, hey, look, Ricard's still alive. I think it's only appropriate, let them know. And then we'll also stop at Altair and Fynn, just to sell stuff off. And there's a special meaning we can get if we go to Fynn. That is the new home of the rebels. Remember, we took that castle back a few episodes ago. Actually, quite a few episodes ago, because we had quite a few there in the Mysidia cave, so. And we're going to have quite a few here in the Mysidia Tower. This is 10 floors. A lot of them are going to be elemental floors. So we're going to have like a fire floor, an ice floor, and then a thunder floor. So, no poison floor. And they'll all be guarded by a Gigas-type monster of the corresponding elements, so. We're going to get a lot of elemental equipment here too, so that's why we're going to be leaving after we do this quick little treasure dive, so that we can empty out our inventory so that we can hold all the good treasure that we're going to get, so. There's some spirit there, Fess got. That treasure there, chest in the middle there, that's the one that's going to have the white robe, and you have to sneak through this little hole there to grab it. So, just going to look at, see Fess right there, he has spirit of 50. We're going to grab the white robe. Equip it on him, and of course that'll mean he'll lose 10 things of strength, but it's much better to have him get that 10 points of spirit. See, now his spirit is at 60, so there we go. And we're going to be moving stuff around here a little bit, so he can get the power, even though he's already getting plus 10 strength from the giant's gloves. The power just has better defense, and so do the power gloves, so now we're playing with power. So I think the power glove is, or power bracelet is also a little bit lighter, so it might not affect his evasion as much. So let's hope we can get Maxine. Even though none of the Gigases that we'll be fighting he'll be weak to the Thunder spell. We'll still want to get that up to level 6 soon. Gonna try to also work on Fess's Asuna spell. Might as well try to get as much use out of it now, because we want to, get some more spirit increases. And then, like I said, we will be leaving the Mysidia Tower after we get the one last treasure. And we'll be obviously stopping at those towns to heal up. So we'll get all our MP back. So werewolves, kind of generic enemy. We could have ran into them if we would have took the land route to Mysidia. Kind of from the, if you approach Mysidia from the land from the north, you could run into these enemies there. Werewolves, the imps, and there's another enemy on this floor, vampire girls. So vampire girls are undead, so you just run into them, hit them with fire, switch out Ricard's ice bow for the fire bow, but otherwise not too special enemies on this floor. Like I said, the main one you have to worry about is the imp, because it can cast that confuse 16 spell. But thankfully they don't have a lot of hit points, so they don't have any elemental weaknesses like these guys. Like these guys don't have elemental weaknesses either. The only one that has the elemental weaknesses, like I said, those vampire girls. They have weakness to fire. So just use whatever spell you want on these werewolves, whatever one you're trying to level up. It doesn't matter what element. So usually when there's not a lot of enemies are weak to Scourge, so I tend to use Scourge against enemies that have no elemental weakness, because I don't get a chance to use it as often. So, like I said, you tend to use Fire a lot and Blizzard, because those are the two most common elemental weaknesses for enemies, Fire being the most. And then Thunder can always get work on in like the sea, when you run into sea enemies, because they're pretty much all weak to Thunder, so Scourge is the least used. So had to take a little step away there for a sec. Princess was running around and didn't want her to get in trouble. So there we go. Maxine got her Thunder. So now all our elements are at level 6. So, which is basically what we were shooting for when we were going into the Mysidia Tower here. So we didn't actually reach it, but hey, we got it before we ran into the elemental Gigases. So I guess because we're running into a whole bunch of elemental Gigases, they're like the boss monsters in this area. Another common enemy besides those imps, which are pretty much on every floor it seems, we're going to run into this group of enemies a lot, the Hill Gigases and Bombs. Because we've been putting on a lot of defensive equipment, we could almost not have to worry about those bombs blowing up on us. Yeah, see, it hit Booker there, didn't do any damage to him, because like I said, we're starting to put on some, we're no longer running around without any armor on. So, we actually have some defense finally. But I'm still just going to try to avoid doing that, try to also prolong the battles a little bit, give a chance for some folks to gain some experience with their weapons, especially Ricard. His bow level's getting there pretty high, well, pretty quickly. It's not high yet. I think he's only at level 2, but he'll be getting into the levels pretty quick, because like I said, his rank is so low and these ranked enemies are so high. We're going to run basically into rank 5, 6 type enemies in here. So like this is a rank 5 battle right here. The Bombs and Hill Gigas are all rank 5. All the bosses are rank 7, so all the Gigases. Bosses will be the Fire Gigas, the Ice Gigas, the Thunder Gigas. They'll all be rank 7, so good opportunity to gain some skill points. Okay, Fess got some agility. Maxine intellect. Carrying too much. So I'll just grab an item here, see what we can drop. See if we can equip anything. And if not, we can end up just dropping that, whatchamacallit, yeah, it looks like we don't have any really good inventory space. Well, we can put something in Ricard here. If you don't have any inventory space, you can always drop one of the staffs, because they're, you know, rank 1 equipment, so they're not going to sell for much. But, hey, whatchamacallit, let's just say Maxine has one more point to go to get another intelligence multiplier, so another multiplier on her magic. So, as you see, I had to step out to the right there and kind of swoop around to get to my ship. As I said, if we went straight south, you would have hit the, whatchamacallit, you would have triggered that cutscene where you entered the tower again, so it's kind of annoying, but we only have to go back into the Mysidia Tower once. We're just going to make sure we finish it all in one turn, so, or one go. So let's head back to Fynn. Run into some tough monsters now. We're running into goblins. So, not much to, these weak little goblins. Man, it just goes to show how far we've come when these goblins were the enemies we wanted to fight a long, long time ago. Now they're just annoyances. These goblins, like I said, they dropped some pretty good gold. They dropped the best amount of gold at the beginning of the game. And that's when money was so tight. But now, yeah, people can cheese the goblins now. If you got the swap spell from Mysidia, a lot of people will swap stats with the goblins, and it basically guarantees a whole bunch of level ups, because you're basically going down to 6 hit points, like no magic points. Speaking of magic points, even though the goblins don't have any magic points, you can still absorb magic points off of them with the Osmos spell, so that's kind of weird. Now the only reason I'm stopping here, well, we'll see. I'm not going to spoil it, because we're just going to have to wait a few more seconds, but look at the upper left corner. Hey, it's Layla! She's here! A dragoon, let us rid the world of the Emperor. You were swallowed by Leviathan? Thank God you're safe. I hope Minwu is safe too. And there's Layla. I thought you were dead for sure. Glad y'all are safe. So yeah, I guess she got tossed overboard and swam back to Altair. So, darn, we can't warp out of here, so... But that's because of a reason a little bit later. So... But let's just head out of here, and then we'll head into the Fynn village to heal up at the inn and empty out our equipment. So, if you want, you can, I think, buy some diamond gear here for elemental resistances, but I kind of have most elemental resistances that I need, so we'll be swapping a lot of gear around in the Mysidia Tower. But let's just get rid of all this junk that we've been accumulating and have no use for. Keep some of the different shields. Diamond gives thunder, gold, poison. Fire is ice, and ice is fire. Yeah, usually things give opposite, but in some cases, I'll point it out a little later. One weird case is the body armor. Ice gives ice protection, and fire gives fire protection. So, I don't know why that is. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they figure you might do the thing of putting like an ice armor and ice shield on one character for like OCD purposes, maybe, I don't know. But then you get, you know, ice and fire, so. Or maybe they just coded it wrong. Who knows? But yeah, that's the only difference. The only weird thing is, like, the only difference, like I said, where they're not protecting against the opposite element. So, let's hop in for a little bit of a rest here. Heal our hit points and MP. We couldn't heal ourselves there with Fess's cure because he was out of MP, but like I said, money ain't all that important anymore. We're, you know, probably never going to spend all the money that we have. So, maybe it'll just go to cottages and maybe like 1 or 2 more spells. I may get another spell. I may get the Coast spell since I accidentally threw out the Ancient Sword or sold it. But we'll see. And I might get the Holy spell as well for Fess. So, because his strength is so low, and maybe I don't know if the Holy will end up doing more damage once it levels up a little bit. Because he's mainly, if he had really good spirit, I would just continue to work on his, you know, with his weapons to deal damage. Because, like I said, he's going to end up getting the best sword in the game, the strongest sword. But, you know, his spirit is kind of slacking compared to, you know, Maxine's intelligence. Maxine is, what, 83 intelligence, and Fess is only at 60 spirit. And that's with the 10-point boost to his spirit with the white robe. So, yeah, he's 23 points behind, 33 if you take off that 10 point. So, eventually Maxine will, much later in the Mysidia Tower, get the black robe, which will be her basically end game equipment. That gives the plus 10 intelligence. So, and like I said, the good things about those ones are it can actually wrap over the 99, so you get like the value, like it goes like 89, which I guess is how the integer is displayed in coding. So we're gonna head to Deist. Remember, we're gonna head south. We gotta go around this weird thing because there's a landmass blocking the northern way up to Deist. And then once we see the snow cavern area, then we know that we're on the right thing. We just have to head to the east a little bit, and then we run into Deist, so we can let the woman and that kid know that, hey, Ricard's alive and well. So he'll have some stories to tell, obviously. And we got swallowed by Leviathan. So too bad we didn't. Wonder why we couldn't have gotten all those other people to leave, you know. But oh well. Once, like I said, once you're swallowed by Leviathan, you can't go back to that dungeon. So, but luckily, the sea monsters. So if you miss one of those monsters and we're trying to get like full bestiary, those monsters will become the new sea monsters after a certain event later on, which means that these sea monsters here will eventually leave. So, you know, if you haven't gotten the sea snake, the killer fish, and the buccaneer, and the hell diver, the eagle, you'd want to roam around and grab them right now, because in a little bit they will be replaced. Certain land enemies will also be replaced, but usually those aren't as big as a problem if you're missing them, because a lot of them are found in dungeons. And monsters in dungeons won't be replaced. It's just, like I said, the overworld and the sea that's going to get replacements. So, but hey, it'd be good when those monsters on the overworld are finally replaced, because we're tired of fighting those weak enemies. So there's no bonus. You know, there's no point in fighting them because you don't get any experience. They're like rank 1 enemies, rank 2. You know, at most maybe rank 3. Some of those like the land turtles. But enemies on Deist here, they will not change, so not that we want to keep fighting these enemies because they're low rank too, and these undead are also very annoying. So, because they tend to have sometimes a lot of them have you know, status ailments that they can give to you, and status ailments aren't fun because, remember, if you end the battle with a permanent status ailment, you can't get any points for that battle. So these guys are, we gotta probably take them out with one fire shot. It's just so high rank, and Maxine has such a high intelligence. But we'll prolong the battle a little bit. Let Fess get some work on his spirit, and Maxine can work on her thunder spell. You can also use Blizzard. Just don't use Scourge, because, you know, they're undead, and undead absorb the poison element. So our spellcasters kick out the ones in the back, and then we can have just Ricard and Booker there take out the big tougher monsters in the front. Switch out, put on the flame bow. That'll give a few extra points of attack. I think 6 more. I think the flame bow has an attack of 14, and the ice bow has an attack of 20. But remember, the flame bow, because these are weak, will give an extra 20 to it. So normally the ice bow would be 6 points attack higher, because 20 minus 14. But with the elemental weakness, you would get 20 added to the flame bow. So the flame bow would be 34 minus the 20, the ice bow. So you'd end up with 14 greater attack power. So do a little bit more damage, just to be safe. So, but we will take out these enemies here. Not much of a problem. So I remember when these guys first were a little bit of a problem. So yeah, it's always fun to go back to old stomping grounds and see how much you've progressed. The Ogre Mage, though, even though they're not a problem, can still be nice to fight because they use spells, and that helps us with our spell resistance. So it helps build up our magic defense, our magic evade. So yeah, that doesn't work. I mean, that basically works the same way. Levels are basically the same way as the evasion, your physical evasion, but you know, less enemies obviously cast spells, so it's neglected. So. And Suno, trying to get that up to, you know, eventually level 8. And then once that's at level 8, we can just, you know, kind of ignore it. So. Booker got some agility, and Ricard got another bow level. So, yeah, I said he'd gain levels pretty quick with the bow, so. I think Layla left at rank 5. Ricard, I think, right now is rank 3. So. Alright, let's talk with these folks here. Ricard, Alina, where are the others? They were killed. Alina, be strong. When the war is over, I'll come back. Are you a dragoon? Yes, I was a friend of your father's. I promised to avenge him. When the Emperor is defeated, I'll come back and raise you to be a dragoon. Okay, you get that, Emperor. Alright, so hey, at least they're happy now that, you know, Ricard has another, you know, purpose in his life. But his purpose right now is to help us get the ultimate magic, ultima, back in the Mysidia Tower. So that's where we'll be heading back in the next episode. So take care. Hope to see you there. Have a good one. Thanks for following along. Bye.